Lily enjoys peaceful early morning walks through the forest trail behind her house, which she uses almost every day as a way to clear her mind and relax. The environment is calm, with dew on the leaves and a soft gray sky, adding to the quiet beauty of the moment. As she follows the trail, Lily feels safe and at peace, not expecting anything unusual to happen that morning. Suddenly, she hears an unusual rustling noise, which immediately catches her attention and halts her walk. Expecting maybe a small animal or bird, Lily turns her head toward the bushes where the sound came from. To her surprise, a large German shepherd emerges, slowly pulling something very large and heavy behind her. The dog looks focused and strong but also tired, as if she's been dragging the object for a long time. Lily quickly notices that the item being dragged is a long black bag, big and bulky, difficult for the dog to move. The bag leaves a wide mark in the dirt, showing just how heavy and solid it is. Lily is shocked but doesn't feel scared. She senses there's more going on than what meets the eye. The dog shows no signs of aggression, making Lily feel safe enough to observe her closely. The German shepherd doesn't make a sound, instead pulls the bag in silence, stopping only to breathe or adjust her grip. Lily's curiosity grows stronger as she watches the dog struggle with clear determination, as though she has a purpose. She starts to follow slowly, staying quiet and cautious so she doesn't frighten the animal. Lily speaks gently to the dog, trying to offer comfort or support, but the dog doesn't acknowledge her. The trail becomes harder to follow as the dog leaves the main path, heading into a deeper part of the forest. Lily hesitates but decides to follow anyway, feeling strangely drawn to whatever is about to unfold. As she walks, branches scratch her arms and twigs snap underfoot, but she doesn't stop. The dog continues without fear, and Lily gets a closer look at her red collar, which looks worn and has no visible ID. She begins to wonder if the dog belongs to someone, was lost, or had run away from a dangerous place. The way the dog moves is unlike any lost animal. She seems to know exactly where she's going. Lily's heart pounds, filled with a mix of suspense and compassion, as she quietly walks behind the dog. The thick woods open into a small clearing, and Lily pauses as the dog finally stops moving. With clear effort and relief, the German shepherd lays the bag down on a grass, as if she had finally reached her destination. Lily realizes something important is about to happen, and she stands completely still, eyes fixed on the bag. Lily stepped into the clearing slowly, her eyes fixed on the worn black bag lying next to the tired dog. The German shepherd panted heavily, but sat tall, never looking away from the bag. The bag was dirty, dusty, and tied tightly with a long piece of twine wrapped around its top. Lily could tell it had been dragged a long way, as the bottom corners were torn and scratched. She glanced at the dog, who seemed calm now, but her eyes were locked on Lily's hands. Taking a deep breath, Lily knelt beside the bag, her fingers trembling as she reached for the string. She spoke softly to the dog, saying, "It's okay, I just want help." The dog didn't move, but her ears twitched, listening to every sound Lily made. Lily pulled the string loose slowly, her heart racing with fear, wonder, and confusion. As the top of the bag opened slightly, a tiny squeaking sound came from inside. Lily gasped and leaned closer, gently pulling the flap open with both hands. Nestled inside the bag were 5 tiny puppies, curled up tightly against each other. Their fur was soft, their bodies warm, and their eyes were still closed. Lily's breath caught in her throat as she watched one of the puppies squirm toward its sibling. The German shepherd lowered her head and licked one of the puppies with a slow, loving motion. It became clear to Lily that this dog was not only the mother, but also the one who had saved them. She had dragged them across the forest, inside a bag, to protect them from something unknown. Lily felt her chest tighten with emotion, overwhelmed by the dog's strength and devotion. The scene was quiet except for soft puppy sounds and the mother's steady breathing. In that moment, Lily realized she had witnessed something incredibly brave, something she would never forget. Lily sat back on her heels, still stunned by what she had just seen inside the bag. The German shepherd stayed close, keeping her body between Lily and the puppies, but not in a threatening way. There was trust growing between them, built by silence, gentleness, and shared care for the pups. Lily looked around the clearing, trying to spot any sign of where the dog might have come from. There were no houses nearby, no paths leading to a yard or road, just thick woods and silence. She guessed the dog must have carried or dragged the bag from somewhere far away. The bag was too large for her to carry in her mouth the whole time, which meant she likely dragged it across dirt and rocks. Lily wondered how many miles this brave dog had traveled to bring her puppies to safety. The mother licked her pups again and looked up at Lily with tired, gentle eyes. It was as if she was silently asking, "Can you own me now?" Lily nodded slowly, whispering, "I'll take you home. You're safe now." She gently closed the bag halfway again to keep the puppies warm but loose enough to breathe easily. Carefully, she tested the weight of the bag and realized she would have to carry it with both arms. The German Shepherd stood up and began walking beside her as if she understood the plan. Lily struggled with a heavy load but managed to lift it, feeling its warmth against her chest. Every few steps, she looked down to make sure the puppies were okay inside the bag. The dog never left her side, walking calmly like a guard, always checking Lily's pace. The woods felt different now, no longer quiet and lonely, but full of new meaning and life. Lily walked slowly, stepping over roots and branches, careful not to drop or shake the bag. As the forest thinned and her house came into view, Lily knew she had made the right choice by helping this brave mother and her tiny family. When Lily finally reached her home, she opened the back door carefully while balancing the bag in her arms. The German Shepherd followed close behind, stepping into the house with quiet paws and alert eyes. Lily led her into the laundry room, the warmest and quietest part of the house. She placed the bag gently on a thick towel and untied it to let the puppies breathe more freely. The mother dog lay down beside them at once, curling her body protectively around her babies. Lily filled a bowl with cool water and slid it across the floor, watching as the dog drank eagerly. She then opened a can of dog food, placed it on a plate, and set it nearby. The German Shepherd sniffed it carefully, then ate slowly, never taking her eyes off her pups. Lily sat on the floor and watched in awe as the dog began nursing her puppies one by one. The room filled with soft noises, gentle licking, tiny squeaks, and the low hum of the washing machine. Lily spoke in a calm voice, telling the dog how amazing she was and how lucky her pups were. She took out her phone and searched for a nearby animal clinic, wanting to be sure the puppies were healthy. The vet's office answered quickly and scheduled an appointment for the following morning. Lily wrapped a warm blanket around the box she planned to carry them in and added another layer under the dog. The mother seemed to relax more with each passing minute, her breathing slowing and her body softening. Lily felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that they were all finally safe. She named the dog Grace in her mind, though she hadn't said it out loud yet. Grace looked up as if she already knew the name and gently placed her head on her paws. Lily stayed in the room, watching over them like a quiet guardian, feeling a connection grow between them. As the sky darkened outside and the room grew still, Lily knew her life had just changed forever. The next morning, Lily took a photo of Grace nursing her puppies and shared it on her local community website. Along with the picture, she wrote a short message describing how she had found Grace dragging the bag through the woods. She explained how the dog had saved her puppies and how they were now resting safely in her home. Within hours, dozens of people commented with kind words and offers to help. Some people offered extra food. Others asked if they could donate toys or supplies. A few families even expressed interest in adopting a puppy when they were old enough. Lily was amazed at how fast the story spread across town, even to nearby cities. News outlets began messaging her, asking for permission to share the story and photos. She agreed, knowing that spreading Grace's story might inspire others to show more love to animals in need. The story was posted on a local news site, and by the end of the day, it had hundreds of shares. One person called Grace a hero, and others said her actions showed real motherly courage. Children sent letters with drawings of puppies and hearts, which Lily read to Grace while she rested. A pet store in town offered to send free supplies for the puppies, including food, pads, and small blankets. Volunteers showed up at Lily's house with crates, cleaning materials, and even warm milk for bottle feeding. Lily set up a small donation box on her porch, and it filled up with treats, toys, and notes of encouragement. Grace seemed to understand that she was being honored, sitting quietly as visitors peeked in to see her and her babies. Lily printed out some of the kind messages and taped them to the laundry room wall. Every kind act made the room feel warmer, and every visitor left with a smile. Lily had never seen so many strangers come together for one animal, and it filled her with hope. Grace, once tired and alone in the woods, was now a beloved symbol of love, bravery, and new beginnings. Over the next few days, Grace and her puppies began to grow stronger and healthier in Lily's care. The puppies opened their eyes one by one, blinking slowly as they adjusted to the light. Grace nursed them often, gently cleaning each one and keeping them close to her side. Lily fed Grace high-quality dog food and gave her vitamins that the vet had recommended. The vet came for home visits, checking the pup's weight and temperature, smiling at their steady progress. Each puppy gained a little more energy every day and started crawling around the soft blankets. Lily named them based on their personalities: Buddy, Snow, Dottie, Bear, and Scout. Buddy liked to wrestle with his siblings, while Snow always snuggled into the corner to nap. Dottie had a tiny black spot near her tail. Bear was the biggest, and Scout was always the first to crawl toward Grace. Grace grew calmer and more relaxed, no longer keeping one eye open every time someone entered the room. She had accepted that this house was safe and that Lily truly cared about her family. Lily played soft music during the day and spoke kindly to the puppies so they would get used to voices. Visitors came less often now, giving Grace time to rest and recover without stress. Lily kept a notebook to track their feeding times, growth, and behaviors, like a proud parent. Each night, she peeked into the room and smiled at the sight of the peaceful dog family sleeping soundly. Grace began wagging her tail more often and even nudged Lily's hand for pets when she entered the room. She followed Lily around the house when the puppies were asleep, like a shadow that trusted its light. The bond between them grew stronger, built on days of care, respect, and quiet love. Lily often sat on the floor beside Grace, telling her how proud she was of everything she had done. In that little laundry room, surrounded by blankets and sleepy pups, Grace had finally found peace. As the weeks passed, the puppies became more active, playful, and ready for the world beyond Lily's home. Lily posted updated photos and videos, showing them learning to walk, bark, and tumble over each other. Messages began pouring in from families who had followed their journey from the start. Many people expressed interest in adopting one of the puppies when the time was right. Lily carefully reviewed each request, wanting to be sure every pup would have a kind and loving home. She created a short questionnaire, asking about living spaces, schedules, and past experience with pets. Grace watched silently during each meeting, always keeping a close eye on her babies. The first to leave was Buddy, who went to a family with 2 children and a big backyard. Snow was adopted by an older couple who had recently lost their dog and needed new joy in their lives. Dottie went home with a college student who promised daily walks and bedtime cuddles. Bear joined a firefighter who had a quiet home and a heart full of patience. Scout, the curious one, was adopted by a young teacher who fell in love with his brave little spirit. Lily sent each puppy home with a blanket, a toy, and a note from her and Grace. She asked the new families to send updates, and soon her phone was full of happy pictures. Grace sniffed the empty corners of the room after each puppy left but never seemed angry or afraid. She would lie near their old sleeping spots for a while, then quietly follow Lily around the house again. Lily knew Grace missed them but also sensed that she was proud of the life they now had. The house was quieter now, but it was filled with warmth and memories that would never fade. Grace had done her job as a mother with strength and heart, and now it was her turn to rest. Lily looked at her one night and said aloud, "You don't have to worry anymore. This is your home, too." Months later, the leaves had turned golden, and the air felt cool as fall settled into the town. Lily and Grace now walked the same trail every morning, side by side like old friends. The forest no longer felt mysterious. It had become a symbol of how their journey began. Grace walked proudly, her ears up and tail wagging, no longer the tired, worried dog Lily first saw. Sometimes they stopped at the clearing where Grace had once dropped the heavy bag. Lily would stand still and remember how that moment changed everything for both of them. Grace always sniffed the ground there, then looked up at Lily as if she remembered too. At home, Grace had her own bed, her own toys, and a spot by the window where she watched the birds. Every week, Lily received messages and pictures from the families who adopted the puppies. The updates made her smile, photos of naps on couches, walks in parks, and wagging tails at dinner time. Grace would tilt her head when Lily read the messages out loud, seeming to understand every word. People in the neighborhood now recognized Grace and greeted her with smiles and treats. Children asked to pet her, and she gently let them scratch behind her ears. She had become more than a rescued dog. She was a symbol of hope and quiet bravery. Lily often told friends how much Grace had taught her about love, patience, and second chances. On quiet nights, they would sit on the porch together, watching stars appear one by one. Lily would whisper, "You're safe now, girl," and Grace would rest her head on Lily's knee. Their bond didn't need words. It was built on trust, shared memories, and unspoken care. What started as one woman's walk in the woods had turned into a lifelong friendship. In every step they took together, Lily and Grace carried the story of love, rescue, and the day everything changed. Grace's story didn't just end with her puppies finding homes. It continued to inspire others far beyond Lily's town. A teacher shared the story with her classroom, and the students created posters about helping animals. One girl wrote a poem about courage, using Grace as the hero of her words. A local animal shelter saw a rise in donations after people read about the rescue in the news. Volunteers signed up in larger numbers, hoping to be part of stories just like Grace's. People who had never owned pets before visited shelters, ready to adopt and give second chances. Lily was invited to speak at a community event about her experience, though she insisted Grace was the real hero. She brought Grace with her, and the dog sat calmly on stage, watching the crowd with quiet eyes. Afterward, many people came up to pet her and thank Lily for reminding them of the good in the world. Grace didn't wag wildly or bark. She simply leaned against Lily, like always. Lily smiled as she told others that kindness doesn't need to be big or loud to change lives. All it took was stopping on a trail, being curious, and having the heart to follow through. Grace never spoke a word, but her actions shouted louder than anything else could. Every night, Lily looked at Grace sleeping peacefully and thought about what might have happened if she hadn't taken that walk. It made her appreciate life more, knowing how one small choice could lead to something so beautiful. Grace's puppies would grow up loved and safe, and their mother would never be alone again. Lily sometimes thought about writing a book, just to share how much she had learned from one brave dog. The story had changed her, had opened her heart in a way she never expected. And as long as she and Grace walked together, their story would keep growing with every step. Because sometimes the best chapters in life begin with a single, quiet act of love.